Amidst economic challenges, have you ever thought how much Tesla stock would be worth in the upcoming years? Tesla keeps laying the groundwork for further success. You wouldn't want to miss this for sure. Over the next few years, many analysts have been providing their estimates for Tesla stock values. Some people have high hopes for the EV company's stock, while others are being cautious and making low estimates. Others mostly base their thoughts on revenue and what the future holds for the organization. A very thorough forecast for Tesla stock in the upcoming years was made by a YouTube video maker. He estimates that in 2022, there will be roughly 1.4 million car deliveries. He said that it might be less because of the Shanghai factory's closure, but he clarified that when there are no unforeseen issues, like the production hiccups in the Shanghai factory in 2023, it will be at least close to that amount. According to him, Tesla should be able to supply about 2.2 million cars by 2024, representing a staggering growth of 60%. In addition, he projects a 50% growth and 3.3 million car deliveries by 2025. By 2025, he anticipates over 5 million vehicles to be supplied, representing yet another 50% surge. He anticipates delivery of over 7 million automobiles, but a slowing in growth to just 40% by 2026. Although he anticipates deliveries to reach close to 9.9 million, growth will still be at 40% in 2027. Nevertheless, he projects a 40% growth in 2028 and a massive delivery of more than 10 million vehicles. He projects slower growth of 30% in 2029, with 18 million automobiles delivered. He clarified that the reason for this is because it becomes more difficult to sustain that large growth advantage as the number increases. He believes that with a growth rate of 20 to 30%, Tesla will produce exactly 20 million automobiles by 2030. The price-earnings ratio, or PE for short, is the ratio of a company's share price to its earnings per share. Let's now discuss this ratio. This has a significant impact on long-term stock price forecasts. Take note that the post-stock split price of Tesla's shares is used as the base price in the upcoming projections. This is still predicated on the content creator's meticulous forecast from earlier. He says that the PE in 2022 will be 100, which he thinks is where we are right now. In his opinion, Q3 and Q4 will yield horrifying outcomes. Furthermore, he believes that by Q4, managing this recession will be much simpler. As a result of our impending minor recession, interest rates will likely start to decrease. It will not be a heavy one, he declared. With a market capitalization of about $1.4 trillion, Tesla's stock price, assuming a 100 PE, is $438 per share. He projects a market capitalization of $2 trillion by 2023, or a PE of 75, or $727 per share for the stock. He predicts that in 2024, 2 years from now, PE will be 70, meaning that the company will be valued at $970 per share, with a market capitalization of about $3.2 trillion. With a market valuation of about $5 trillion, he projects the PE to be 65 in 2025, meaning that the stock would be valued at nearly $1,500 per share. He estimates that in 2026, the stock price would surpass $2,200 per share, resulting in a market capitalization of $7.5 trillion, or a PE of 60. According to his prediction, the stock price will reach about $3,000 per share by 2027, with a market capitalization of over $10 trillion, when the PE reaches 55. He estimates that in 2028, the market capitalization would reach $14 trillion, and the stock price will be close to $4,000 a share, or a PE of 50. And as if that weren't already enormous enough, by the end of the decade, he projects a market cap of approximately $15.5 trillion based on a 40 PE, meaning that the stock price would be valued at $4,311 per share. He values the stock at $442 per share in 2030, with a market capitalization of more than $16 trillion, based on a PE of approximately 40 to 45. Given that the US GDP is currently between $21 and $22 trillion, and could reach $30 trillion by 2030. Some may argue that these figures are currently somewhat implausible. To put it another way, despite being a US-based business, Tesla is seen as global in scope due to its gigafactories located in Shanghai and Berlin in addition to the US. Additional factories are being discussed for Brazil, the UK, and Indonesia. Consequently, Tesla has the potential to reach a $16 trillion market capitalization, albeit distributed among the corresponding nations. Assuming that 20 or 30% will go to the US, then 30% of the $16 trillion will benefit the US. If, on the other hand, another 30% goes to China, then China will receive another 30% of the $16 trillion, and so on. Naturally, there are differing opinions among specialists regarding the forecast for the price of Tesla stock in the upcoming years. If Tesla's stock increases by 35% a year, experts predict that it will reach $1,200 in 2022. That represents the average growth projection from more than 30 analysts. It should be mentioned, nevertheless, that not everybody concurs. The analysts at JP Morgan have set a target of $250 for December 2022, which is one of the more pessimistic forecasts. Assuming the same 35% growth rate, Tesla's 2023 valuation would be approximately $1,600. Even more optimistic predictions call for a 70% yearly growth rate, which would put the price at $2,600 by the end of 2023. Longer-term Tesla stock projections often place the stock's price between $1,000 and $5,000. It is possible to estimate the size of the electric vehicle market and price Tesla accordingly, while projections beyond the next few years are more speculative. The $1,400 price objective that ARK Investment Management set for 2024 has now been indicated to be on the low side. Tesla intends to grow sales by 50% yearly, which is the basis for many estimates. This would enable the business to continue raising the price of its shares by thousands of dollars. Based on their projected significant growth in the EV industry over the next few years, $3,000 is one price target for Tesla in 2025. By then, the corporation might sell over 10 million automobiles, according to ARK analysts, a 20-fold increase over 2020 sales. However, from its 2021 open-source Tesla model that predicted their worth of $3,000 per share in 2025, Cathie Wood-led ARK Invest has now released an updated valuation model that values Tesla shares at $4,600 by 2026. They revised their position in response to significant developments, such as forecasts, estimates of capital efficiency, and assumptions and inputs for autonomous ride-hailing. Has been moved up to 2026 by 1 year. Some estimate a notable growth between 2024 and 2028. The price of a Tesla would increase by 122%, from $569 to $1,263. Starting at $569, Tesla is expected to surge to $673 in the first half of 2024 and end up at $758 by the end of the year. This indicates a 175% increase from today. One of the most bullish predictions, based on data from 2021, places the price of a Tesla share at almost $45,000 by 2030, a 50-fold gain. Based on that calculation, the company's value would be $1.5 trillion. It is projected that the price of Tesla will increase by plus 25%, from $1,263 to $1,582 between 2029 and 2033. After beginning 2029 at $1,263, Tesla is expected to surge to $1,289 in the first half of the year and end up at $1,316. It is approximately plus 377 from today. That said, investors ought to consider the competition and their actions in order to assess whether or not their automobiles have the potential to someday displace some of Tesla's sales. Data from the automotive research company and Irvine, California-based Kelley Blue Book Vehicle Value show that in the first 3 months of 2022, sales of electric cars in the U.S. were mostly driven by Tesla's automobiles, accounting for 75% of all sales. Though it will face competition from other car behemoths, Tesla also hopes to establish itself as a key presence in regions like China and Europe. The price of Tesla is expected to more than double in the next 5 years, averaging $2,588.10, according to third-party forecasting tool Wallet Investor. By early August 2027, the baseline 5-year projection for Tesla shares, according to Gov Capital, another algorithm-based forecasting firm, was $4,411.11. Within the next 5 years, both estimates pointed to a significant upside potential for Tesla. Nonetheless, a lot can happen in that time frame to influence the cost. It is crucial to remember that forecasts made by analysts and algorithms may not come true. They derive from a historical analysis of the price of Tesla shares. Results in the past do not always translate into the future. Before making any trading decisions, traders are urged to conduct thorough due diligence on the company. Unexpected problems are another problem that could crop up at any time and have a big impact on the stock price. Last but not least, never risk money you can't afford to lose. To receive updates on future projections for Tesla stock prices, click the subscribe button.